because of kids were left out of school for so long.
Riot police descended on Montana's capital this week after left-wing protesters disrupted proceedings in the state House of Representatives in support of a lawmaker who calls himself Zooey Zephyr, a Democrat who dresses as a woman but is a man. Seattle radio host and Fox News contributor Jason Rantz says think about what these people are protesting. For a child to be able to have mutilation surgery without parental consent or knowledge.
Yeah, well, the intent is obviously to silence and bully anyone who stands in the way, and they know for the most part that they're going to get favorable treatment from the media, both locally and nationally. Fox News is an outlier here in actually calling this out for what it is, but really, think about what they're fighting for. They're fighting for surgical interventions for children. I'm in a state where you can get these procedures, like so many other states, without parental consent. But now, if you run away from home in order to receive this, the state isn't going to tell the parents where the kids are. These are minors who are too young to go to war, for gun ownership, for purchasing of alcohol and cigarettes, for consent to have sex. And yet we tell them that you are at this point ready to make body-altering and life-altering decisions.
The Missouri School District is now making its math curriculum more gender-inclusive, updating word problems and other language-based math equations with they-them pronouns. As presented in a Webster Groves School District math program evaluation last week, so-called non-binary people will be represented in word and contextual problems via the pronouns. Teacher Daniel Buck says this is the movement which doesn't see schools as places of learning.
Well, it all comes back to politics as always, and in particular, critical theory, which is this theory of education that's very popular in the schools of education across the country, that see our schools not as places of learning or academic inquiry of any kind, but just politics. They are the place from which the left is going to bring about their social change.
A former police officer and SWAT member is sharing ideas on how to prevent school shootings. Chris Woodward has more.
Mark Sherwood, now a naturopathic doctor in Tulsa, talked about his three-step plan on AFRs at the CORE program.
I mean, number one, real simply, we put a one-way in, one-way out, surveil entrance, so you at least having some sort of barrier or control of who comes to the building.
Number two, Sherwood recommends schools have visible security.
And that can be anything from visible marked security out front to even as minimal as having a police car parked out front. And just a visible deterrent there provides some sort of level of resistance.
Number three involves training staff on concealed carry.
Allow them to do that if they choose to, and then you put a sign up all around the perimeter of that building that says something like this: beware, or be aware that personnel on the school grounds may be armed.
Sherwood's approach comes as Democrats and Republicans argue on which approach is better. Ban so-called assault weapons and make it more difficult to obtain a firearm, or put money and manpower toward better securing schools. I'm Chris Woodward.
More news online at afn.net. I'm Rusty Pugh.
God made his design for marriage absolutely clear. July 6th through the 8th at the Cadence Bank Arena and Conference Center in Tupelo, Mississippi, it's the Marriage Family Life Conference 2023. Strengthen your marriage and your family with Abraham Hamilton III, Dr. Kathy Cook, Miki Addison, and many more. The Youth Apologetics track is back as well. The Marriage Family Life Conference 2023, for His glory alone. Register today at marriagefamilylife.net. Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildman, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. I'm Tim Wildman. The day is Wednesday, April the 26th. Thank you for listening to AFR. Today's Issues is the name of this show, and joining me to co-host this morning is Fred Jackson. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Tim.
And Chris Woodward.
Thank you very much. Hello.
And this hour, we're going to have, at the bottom of the hour, we're having Dr. Jessica Peck, who is one of our newest podcasters here at American Family Radio. And she's got an excellent book, Behind Closed Doors, a guide to help parents and teens navigate navigate through life's toughest issues. So we'll talk to Dr. Peck at the bottom of the hour. Also, next hour when Steve Paisley Jordahl comes in, we're going to have Rob West on. What's Rob going to be talking about, Fred?
Rob is going to be talking about a subject that I know our audience is just really keen on, and that has to do with the Biden administration moving forward pretty well behind the scenes on this front with a central bank digital currency. Now, basically what that's about, it's throw all your paper dollars away, and the government is going to have in your bank account instead digital currency, which the government will control, basically. Be able to watch what you buy, where you're shopping, and even to the extent of maybe freezing your bank account. So, pretty scary stuff. That's why we want to talk to Rob West.
And the Republicans are saying no.
Absolutely.
They're saying no, we're not going for this. And so we'll talk to Rob West about this. Also, Biden wants to make people who have good credit scores pay for people who don't.
Oh, yeah.
With respect to home mortgages. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
because you're disciplined and you've got a good FICO score, it's
Right.
called. Okay, so if you got a FICO score, I think it's like 650 and above, something like that. We're going to tack on. He's going to make the banks, Biden's going to make the banks tack on an extra $40 a month or so to your mortgage payment,
Right.
to help people who do not have good FICO scores.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
That's called socialism.
If Biden has his way.
Yes.
And he announced yesterday, did Biden, that he is rip-roaring and ready to go for
Yes.
2024, isn't he, Chris?
He's urging people to finish the job, but if you really pay attention to his video announcement, he doesn't talk about what he's done. So therefore, leaving some people to wonder, what are we finishing?
He is going to run for president. That's what he said, and there's little excitement among the Democrats.
No, as we've talked about on the show here, the Associated Press of all news outlets has done polling a couple of times this year and found more than once that many Democrats, a majority of them, in fact, don't want Joe Biden. They're not excited about him running. So he faces an uphill battle compared to most presidents running for re-election.
He's got a brand new ad out this morning already. And I just want you, in this ad, this is what he says.
This is Biden.
This is Biden. Courage, opportunity, democracy, freedom, the values and beliefs that built this country and still beats in our hearts. But they're under attack by an extreme movement that seeks to, now listen to this, he claims, overturn elections. That's not true. They just want voter integrity.
They'll be milking that January 6th thing 100 years from now.
Yeah.
They'll be showing, really.
And the ad claims to ban books. Well, let's flesh that one out a bit. What Republicans in Republican states want to do is take books celebrating sexual perversion
Yes.
off of school library shelves.
Right.
So they say ban books.
That's what they call banning books. Yes, maybe it's technically, quote, banning books, but there's more context and reasons for. And by the way, this objection to a lot of this material in books teaching, promoting homosexuality and transgenderism and things of that nature to children.
Yes.
That's what the objection is to, and some of the critical race theory by parents across the country. And they're not necessarily just conservatives.
Oh, no.
They're moderates and liberals.
That's
who are-
right.
who are saying the same thing. So that's what Biden is calling book banning.
Book banning. And then eliminate a woman's right to choose. The Democratic Party celebrates abortion, the killing of unborn babies.
Up until the moment of birth.
Up until the moment of birth. So that's going to be basically the crux of their campaign, of Biden's campaign. Let's go out there and maintain the right to kill more babies.
Right. Okay, now on the Republican side, former President Trump had some controversial remarks to make, which is highly unusual for him.
Yeah, right.
But yesterday morning on his Truth Social platform, which is what he started when Twitter banned him, and he said, what did he say yesterday morning?
Yeah, he said the following. I'll read the whole thing.
You gonna read the whole thing verbatim?
I
Because
will.
sometimes it's hard to read a somebody tweets or True Socials verbatim, it's hard to understand exactly. But go ahead and read it verbatim. You're going to quote it. You're quoting former President Trump now, right?
I will. This is Donald John Trump saying the following. I see that everybody is talking about the Republican debates, but nobody got my approval or the approval of the Trump campaign before announcing them. When you're leading by seemingly insurmountable numbers, and you have hostile networks with angry Trump and MAGA-hating anchors asking the air quote questions, why subject yourself to being libeled and abused? Also, the second debate is being held at the Reagan Library, the chairman of which is, amazingly, Fred Ryan, publisher of the Washington Post. No exclamation point.
He capitalized N and O exclamation point. Okay, what President Trump is saying there is he's not going to debate the other Republican candidates as it stands now. I mean, huh?
Yes, that's what it appears.
Unless he changes his mind.
And the first debate is scheduled in Milwaukee, and Fox News is going to host that debate. So presumably you're going to have people like Brett Baer, maybe Martha McCallum, maybe somebody else asking the questions.
Right.
Why would the former president feel threatened by that?
I don't know. He said, listen, okay, a couple things here. He cited the second debate at the Reagan Library in California, right?
Santa Barbara area.
And that he objected to the venue. Listen, I understand fully President Trump's skepticism of the liberal media, because absolutely they hated his guts. I understand that. I can appreciate that. However, he's creating a boogeyman here on this one that doesn't exist. I'll tell you why. The Washington, what's the gentleman he objects to?
A guy named Fred Ryan.
Okay, Fred Ryan. I don't know. I've never heard his name before. Who is? Trump said is publisher
Of the Washington Post.
of the Washington Post. Okay, Washington Post, well-known liberal newspaper out of D.C. Okay, they hate Trump. Okay, got it. The problem with that objection is this gentleman that he names here, this fella, has nothing to do with the debate. He just sits on the board or is the chairman of the Reagan Library.
Yes.
He's not going to have anything to do with the moderators or the people who ask questions of the Republican candidates who are going to be there. You see what I'm saying? I don't understand President Trump's objection there. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, secondly, Trump may be thinking he's too far out ahead to make it worth his time to debate the other Republican candidates. That's what Biden's choose to do, and the Democratic Party. But that typically happens for incumbent presidents. President Trump didn't have any debates when he ran in 2020 because he was the sitting Republican incumbent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So President Trump here, to me, he's trying to clear the field now so that he doesn't have to do debates. He doesn't have to be challenged on the Republican side. I think that's a big mistake. I think my view is it makes the president look like he's scared to debate the other candidates, namely Governor Ron DeSantis, who is soon to announce he'll be running for president. That's my take on it. I'm not saying, everybody shares that view, but Fred, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and let's make it clear, the RNC, Republican National Committee, has already said it doesn't favor being part of the debates once a candidate is chosen on the Republican side.
What now?
The Republican National Committee doesn't favor debates between the Republican candidate and the Democrat candidate.
Once the Republicans choose their candidate,
Once the primaries are all over.
I think they'll negotiate something with the Democrats to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
After the fact. But that's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're
We're
talking
talking about a Republican primary debate, right?
Exactly. And once again, I would assume, Fox is going to sponsor the first one, which is scheduled in August in Milwaukee. And as we said, the second one is sometime later at the Ronald Reagan Library. But these would be journalists that I would consider to be fair. That they would be, people from Fox, maybe from Newsmax, I don't know, those types of individuals. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't look good that the former president would say, I don't want to be bothered with that. I think it would be good for conservatives in this country to see all of these candidates on if it's going to be Mike Pence, if it's going to be, Vivek Ramaswamy, if it's going to be Nikki Haley, Tim Scott. I would like to see them on a stage and they're each asked a question. I want to hear the response. I mean, big issues for conservatives.
Right.
Okay, where do these candidates stand on abortion?
Right.
I want to hear the response to that because already there's differences of opinion. So people need to know these things.
Yeah, and why they're running for president, why they think they're the best candidate, and to debate some of the issues that are out there.
Yeah.
My view is I think President Trump is making a mistake if he doesn't go to the debates. Now, I also hear what confused me a little bit. Ronna McDaniel, who is the chairman of the Republican National Committee, she was supported by President Trump. Okay, she had a challenger a couple months back,
Harmeet Dillon.
Yes, but she won. Ronna McDaniel won, and she was backed by President Trump. Well, Ronna McDaniel, she's the one who would be setting up these debates. So they're on a cell phone level, friendship level, Trump and her. So I don't understand how he would object to Republican National Committee, Trump, setting up these debates. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because Trump says they should have, nobody asked me where I wanted to do the debate, when I wanted to do it. They needed, I'm paraphrasing now, but they needed to check with me. And
Yeah.
with all due respect to the former president, no, they don't. Because you're not the only Republican. There are other people too, and the Republican National Committee, they decide when and where the debates will be. So I don't understand, quite frankly, the objections that the former president is laying out here. We'll see what happens. My guess is in the end he'll go to the debate in Wisconsin, but who knows? Also, related to this, Governor DeSantis, I just learned today, the Florida state legislature is poised either today, probably today. They're going to amend, I don't know if it's the constitutional rules or what it is, but exactly it's called. But there's a law in Florida that prevents you, I guess, from being governor and running for another office. Is that accurate?
I've heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of a formality because the Republicans have a supermajority in the legislature of Florida, and Governor DeSantis is what they're going to do. They're going to allow him to run for president and be the governor of the state of Florida at the same time.
Right.
I'm going to share
Now
some links to what you're talking about here.
That's been done down by Democrats and Republican governors down through history.
Right.
It's not unusual.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you going to say?
I was saying I found some links here from Associated Press, National Review, some other websites, CBS, talking about what you're talking about here. So if you're watching the show on Facebook, look for those links.
What links to what now?
Florida GOP set to remove hurdle to DeSantis White House bid.
And there are term limits in Florida. We just have to remind people a governor is subjected to 2 terms. So it's not like he's trying to keep the job forever in case he doesn't.
So if Governor DeSantis does declare, and everybody thinks that he will in the next couple of weeks, how many candidates would that make on the Republican side declared?
Let's see. We got Trump. We got Nikki Haley. We got Vivek Ramaswamy.
Those 3.
Is Larry Elder a declared
Yes,
candidate?
he is.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's 4.
I think Asa Hutchinson is almost
5.
there.
That's 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we got Tim Scott looking at the possibility, and DeSantis inevitably announcing.
Okay.
Maybe Mike Pence. There's sign on the sign.
There's not a path for Pence to become the nominee.
I'm starting to think that. You know, he was going to announce. Remember, he said before Christmas, I'm going to go home, talk to my family.
Yeah.
Early in the new year, but there's been nothing.